open up that Crystal Pepsi and get comfortable.
This is Dope Nostalgia.
Welcome, friends, to Dope Nostalgia Podcast. I'm Naomi, your host, and today's guest is two members of a hugely successful and influential Canadian rock band called Moist. So excited to have both Jeff Pearce and Jonathan Gallivan on the show today. We're going to get to talking to them right away here. I just want to remind you guys, you can always give us a call on the hotline. The number is 1-888-741-9192. Leave us a message and tell us what you want to hear and see on Dope Nostalgia Podcast. And just, get back to us. You can say good stuff, bad stuff. I don't care. Can't wait to hear from you guys. We also have Patreon. You can subscribe to help support the show as well. Patreon.com/Dope Nostalgia. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month, and it helps the show out tremendously. All right. Let me give you some background information on Moist.
Wikipedia moments.
Please bear in mind that Wikipedia can be edited by anyone at any time. If I am reading you the artist's bio, then you know it's information straight from the source.
Moist is a Canadian rock band that formed in 1992. It consists of David Usher as lead vocalist, Mark McAway on lead guitars, Jonathan Gallivan on guitars, Kevin Young on keyboards, Francis Fillion on drums, and Jeff Pearce on bass. Drummer Paul Wilcox left the band just before its hiatus in 2000. Moist was signed by EMI Music in 1994 and released 3 studio albums in the 90s, becoming a staple of Canadian rock music. Shortly after releasing a compilation album in 2001, the band underwent an unplanned hiatus for over a decade and then became officially re-established in June 2013. Shortly after reuniting, the band began work on their 4th studio album entitled Glory Under Dangerous Skies, which was released in 2014. Their 5th album, End of the Ocean, was released in January 2022. Make sure you go check it out. Moist has been nominated for 10 Juno Awards, winning 2. Between 1996 and 2016, Moist was among the top 50 best-selling Canadian artists in Canada and among the top 20 best-selling Canadian bands in Canada. Mark, Jeff, David, and Kevin, all from Ontario, all individually moved to Vancouver over 8 years. The group came together in 1992, where they formed the first version of Moist, which included drummer Jamie Kaufman. The band began writing songs in November of that year and played their first gig 2 months later. Drummer Paul Wilcox replaced Kaufman in early 1993. The same year, the band recorded a 9-song demo tape at the 8th Avenue Sound Studio with engineer Kevin Hamilton. Their sound was influenced by contemporary Seattle acts such as Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, and Alice in Chains. The 2-day recording session cost $500 Canadian. The band had 500 copies of the untitled cassette pressed, and then found support from the staff at the flagship Sam the Record Man store in Vancouver. The cassette reached number 1 on Sam the Record Man's local independent chart. The release was distributed to other stores in the national chain and entered the top 10 on Sam's national independent chart. In '93, Moist signed to EMI Music Publishing Canada. Moist spent much of 1993 touring Canada and writing material for an expanded release. In January of '94, they completed their first full-length album, which cost 3,000 Canadian dollars. The album was called Silver and released independently on February 8, 1994. After Much Music began playing the music video for Moist's lead single, Push, in medium rotation, the album sold almost 6,000 records within 6 weeks. By March of '94, the band signed with EMI Music Canada. The Silver album went on to sell 400,000 copies in Canada on the strength of the singles Push, Silver, Believe Me, and Machine Punch Through. The band was also successful internationally in the United Kingdom, Germany, and Thailand. That year, the band continued to tour around Canada. In '95, they won the Juno Award for Best New Group. In '96, Moist released their second album, Creature, to favorable reviews and sales in excess of 300,000 units. This album included the hits Leave It Alone, Resurrection, Tangerine, and Gasoline, all of which were placed on high rotation on Much. In early 99, the band regrouped to record their third full-length album, Mercedes 5 and Dime. The album was released in the summer of 99 in Canada and later in 2000 in the United States, with singles including Breathe, Underground, and Comes and Goes. So, not only has Moist been very successful, but their lead singer David Usher has also made some very successful solo music as well. Two of his biggest singles include Alone in the Universe and Black Black Hearts. I'm honored to have with me today both Jeff Pearce and Jonathan Gallivan of Moist.
Thanks for inviting me. This is great. I listened to quite a few episodes that you've done, and you do a really good job. They're really good.
That means a lot. Thank you. I'm just glad you made the time.
I'm a podcast junkie, so I listen to podcasts pretty much 10 hours a day. So I was really happy to find yours, actually, because it's exactly the kind of thing I like to listen to. So.
Oh, thank you. I've got to get more people in different genres, though. You know, I've had trouble getting like country artists are really difficult to get a hold of.
Is that right? Really?
Yeah, I've had a couple, but. Yeah. Garth Brooks' daughter was on the show. That was fun.
That's pretty cool for sure.
Yeah,
that's a big name. Even as Offspring, that's a big name. So yeah,
true. A solo artist. She's a solo artist in country. Her name's Allie Colleen.
Okay.
And I don't know. She's trying to make it on her own.
Okay, well, good for her. Good for her, and good luck. And I kind of understand that kind of thing. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, I respect it.
Yeah. So are you you've had a lot of pop artists on as well recently?
Yeah, a lot.
Is that kind of more your bag usually, or are you a rocker girl from way back?
I'm a rocker girl because I was a singer in a rock band for 15 years.
Oh, right on. Cool.
But I grew up on all of it. Like it all influenced me into what I love. I love pop. I love rock. I love all of it. So
was your 15-year tenure as a rock singer? Did you make recordings and that kind of thing? And did you have what was the band called?
The band was called Six String Loaded. And we didn't really do much for touring, but we played a lot of shows in Edmonton and some festivals and things like that.
Excellent. Good. Hey, John.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. Welcome, John. Thank you for making time to come join us.
Oh, of course. Well, thanks for having us.
John, I need to point out my newest T-shirt.
Nice.
So this is one of the many. They just opened a T-shirt printing place in the mall, and I've become a bit addicted to it, I'm afraid. So I've printed off way too many new Moist designs.
Okay.
But this one is kind of secret. You have to know how Wordle works to recognize that it's actually Moist, because it says music.
Right.
Do you play? Would you do Wordle?
I have heard of Wordle and I haven't done Wordle.
So the idea is that with Wordle, as you guess a 5-letter word, green means you've got the letter in the right spot. Gray means there's no letter. S, that means when it's yellow, it means there is an S in it, but it's not in the right spot. Same with the I. And so it means there's only actually 2 words that actually this could be, which are moist and missy, apparently. So
wow,
John's a Wordle expert, so he's trying to figure this out right now.
So 5-letter word with M, S, and I.
Yeah.
But you can have 2 S's?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Actually, no, Misty wouldn't work because there's no, the S can't be there. Anyway.
What about Misty?
Misty,
no?
Maybe that's, no, there's no, there'd be a T. Okay, yeah, actually, it could be.
But there's a T in Moist.
There is a T in Moist.
You got me hooked to this now. I got to do this.
It's worth checking out.
I remember that day when I got all these calls. Like I was doing Wordle every day, and it was like I love doing it. And I woke up this morning, and it was like, did you see the Wordle? Did you see the Wordle? Did you see the Wordle? It's like, oh, I guess I know what it is.
Yeah, it's hoist and hoist.
So you guys were saying you were East Coast, right? You're in Eastern time?
Yeah. John's in Ottawa-ish. Well, Ottawa generally-ish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in Kingston.
How often does the band get together to jam and write and all of that then if you're all over the place?
It's very infrequent. we're rehearsing next weekend. We got shows this summer coming up. So yeah.
That's
so
exciting.
We're spread out between Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, Kingston. Getting together is a bit of an ordeal. Plus we all have other things going on in our lives too. So yeah.
Yeah. And I know, Jonathan, you've been in other bands, and you're a programmer, aren't you? Do you write code?
I do. Well, I mean, I guess nowadays not so much because there's lots of little AI bots that can help write code. I'm not actually doing as much coding anymore, but working with those tools, yeah. I actually work with David. Like David and I have a company called Reimagine AI, and so that's my day job. Actually, is working with David Usher on kind of fun creative tech projects.
What's really cool is I had a bunch of things I wanted to talk about with you, but when I first asked you for an interview too, Jonathan, because I was like, this is a guy who will go into the 90s computer realm with me, and we can talk about some of the old school stuff.
Sure.
So yeah. I hope you're on board for that. But to start off with things, I have questions I want to ask both of you, of course. Who are your musical heroes growing up? We'll start with Jeff.
My first favorite band was the Carpenters. I was a huge Carpenters fan, and I moved naturally from the Carpenters into when I got into high school. I got into Rush, like every 13-year-old boy in 1980, and but none of that really mattered. In 1983, Graham McDonald, who is actually the manager of Moist now, and who's one of my oldest friends, he played me a record that he had just gotten by U2. The album was called War, and my life changed at that moment. That was the big eye-opening moment, because at that point I realized what music could do, how powerful it could be, how it could be emotional and narrative at the same time, and how it just felt like those guys they felt like it had a depth and a meaning that was so far removed from the everything that was coming out of the radio in 1983. It was just a different thing, and that was huge for me.
And it wasn't just about their technical ability. There was more to it.
No, it wasn't about their technical ability. It wasn't that. The only technical ability that I recognized as being genius was the songwriting part of it.
Yeah.
And actually just as well, the way that the band interacted together as a 4-piece band, the way that they made space for each other, and the way that the parts interlocked and connected, and that kind of thing was eye-opening for sure.
What about you, Jonathan?
Well, my mom was really into music. So growing up, I was, she'd be driving me hockey, and she'd have on the radio, she'd say, "Oh, have you heard this song?" She'd crank up like Prince, Little Red Corvette. And I'm like, I never heard of this, Mom. And then, I remember Let's Go Crazy coming out like a few weeks later after she said that. And I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. But it's funny. I went to a hockey tournament in Parksville on Vancouver Island. And I remember we lost like 14-0. But that night I was in the room with a kid, like another kid, like bunking up with him. And he had War. And I never heard this thing before. And he played this, and I couldn't believe what it sounded like and what it was so incredible. So that was huge for me too. And yeah, I just couldn't believe like the emotion and intensity I hadn't heard before, right? In sort of the pop music I had been listening to. So it's interesting because when Unforgettable Fire came out, I remember thinking to me, it doesn't actually sound good. It's not a well-produced record. It's like dull and like it doesn't sparkle really, but the emotion in that, like the feeling in it's like something, yeah. That's what I like about U2. It's the feeling that they gave to me,
Yeah, Unforgettable Fire was a weird record for me as well, the same way. I mean, it had amazing songs on it, like obviously Bad and Pride are incredible, but it felt so felt unfocused in a way. And actually, the Unforgettable Fire, the song itself, is one of my favorite U2 songs.
Yeah, right,
as well.
right.
It's such a great song. Yeah.
Lots of U2 love. That's good.
Yeah,
But it's been said that Moist was influenced by the Seattle grunge movement. Do you believe that to be true?
Oh, it was hard to not be, really. I mean,
yeah.
Mark and I moved to Vancouver in 1991, and we moved from we'd started playing in bands together at Queen's in Kingston, and then we moved to Toronto together to start a band. But everything that was happening there was in 1991. It was either what they were calling the Queen Street Country thing with Blue Rodeo and Skydiggers and that kind of band, or it was still the era of it was the end of the era of hair metal. And what we were really into was the stuff from the West Coast that was happening. And so we picked up and moved west to we thought, let's start a band out there and see what was going on. And it was specifically because of that. And it was the fall that we arrived there was the fall that the great fall of 1991 when Nevermind and Pearl Jam's 10 and Blood Sugar Sex Magic and Actum Baby, lots of records came out. So yeah, 100%.
What a time to be there.
Yeah.
So you found yourself in Seattle quite a bit, crossing the border over there and playing shows, or?
No, we're not
yet.
Actually, no, not at all. It's not that easy for Canadian bands to cross the border, and
if you're getting paid for a show, I imagine it's
just tricky. And there's enough,
Yeah.
there was enough small places around Vancouver to play that we were able to do that. But ultimately, when we ran out of those places, we bought a van and started touring, and that was the beginning of the band's career. Began as a touring band in a white Econoline, just barreling dangerously down Canadian highways. And it seems like every tour was in the winter. I know it's impossible, but it really seems like all the memories are winter. So yeah.
Oh, are you driving like the Coca-Cola in the winter?
Oh my God, more times than I can count. Yeah.
That scares the crap out of me.
And the first tour we went was actually in the summer, but we went from Vancouver to Edmonton. That was the way our tour was booked. And that's not a close drive. But it was also not the worst drive of that first tour either, where we found ourselves playing.
Do you remember a good story from the road?
You know what? I think I've suppressed most of the memories. Mark used to have I mean, it was the days before there was any kind of entertainment. And so we had to do things to entertain ourselves on the bus. Actually, I remember, on the van. I remember Kevin and I had like an 11-hour chess game one day, from Vancouver to Edmonton. I don't think we ever finished it. And Mark would read excerpts from the Led Zeppelin biography, Hammer of the Gods, to keep us entertained.
So that definitely influenced your initial sound and your writing, obviously being on the West Coast. Tell me about filming the first video for Push and how you gained traction at Much Music off the bat with the first single.
Yeah, well, it wasn't. Yeah, that was a huge thing for us. We already had we had recorded Push a year before we made the video, and we had a 9-song cassette. I have a feeling it's reachable, but I can't think of where it is right now. But it's here somewhere. We had a 9-song cassette that we recorded in the winter of 1993, and then we toured with that, and we were handing it out. We were going to we were just touring constantly and going to all the college radio stations that we could, and actually any radio station that would let us in the door. But we were completely unheard of at the time, and it was difficult. But 1993 was an amazing time for Canadian music. There was Canadian original bands could actually get in a van and could get booked in small venues across the country, and people would come out to see original music. It's hard to imagine that happening now the way that it was happening back then, but it was incredible. But we knew that we needed a way to we needed a calling card. We needed something to help us get known in the places where there wasn't radio stations that we could go to. And obviously Much Music was the goal for sure. So we took the 9 songs we had and recorded a bunch more and ended up turning it into our first record, Silver, which we then were preparing to release independently. And we had this idea for a video, and the video would be a one-shot video, because we knew we couldn't afford any editing. And the concept would come from the name of the song, which is Push, where David is on a dolly and somebody's giving it a push down a hallway. And we applied for a Video Fact grant and we were turned down, but we had been turned down by every record company in the country at that point in time. So we were used to this and weren't discouraged in the least bit, and decided we would figure out a way to do this ourselves. And we had a publishing deal at the time, and we told them the idea, and they thought it was really cool. And then when we were, sorry, this is going to be a long story. I apologize.
That's fine.
It was the right before Christmas of 1993, and we were coming back from touring. We'd just gone across the country and back, like we had been doing, and we had a couple of days that we were supposed to take off before we went over to Vancouver Island and do some shows there. And we got a call from a film production company that was looking for bands to play their Christmas party, and we were exhausted, and we were looking forward to spending some time away from each other. But we never, ever turned down an opportunity to do something. So we agreed to go and play this party. And it was for this film production company. And these guys, they loved the band. They thought it was they just loved it. And they came to us and said, hey, we want to make a video with you guys. And we told them the idea, and they thought that was incredible as well. And they had just finished working on a TV show. I think it was called Cobra. And they had a set that was built in a Vancouver warehouse. And the set hadn't been torn down yet. And it was right before, this was actually during the Christmas break. And these guys were off. And so a bunch of the film people decided to come out and work just for the experience of doing this video. And we drummed up enough money to buy some film, and we pushed David down this hallway in this thing. We got all of our friends to come out and be extras. And we cut the thing together with about 4 hours of editing time and sent it to Much Music, and they flipped for it. They just loved it. So we'd already booked another tour, and we got back in the van, and a few weeks after the tour started, all of a sudden people started showing up at the show saying they'd seen the video. And yeah, it was the beginning of everything.
And Silver is an incredible album. So, kudos to you guys. It's very well written and so many great songs on it. Now, tell me about the time you spent at Much Music in the Much environments. Did you do some like those intimate and interactive shows?
Yep.
Who were your favorite VJs
all those
to be with?
Oh, all of them were great. I mean, we loved Suk Yin. She was amazing at the time. We loved Bill Velichka was incredible. I think our favorite though was probably Terry David Mulligan, because he was the first guy who actually took any interest in the band, because he had his office and he did the Much West program. And he spent a lot of time with us, and he was amazing. But yeah, those intimate and interactive things and the Much Music Video Awards, they were incredible events. They were so much fun, and there was so much energy and spark. And it was exactly all the chaosing and that you were seeing on TV was exactly the way it was there. You're being pulled in a million directions, and someone would come yelling to you saying you had to be on stage in 10 minutes. And yeah, it was amazing time.
Organized chaos at the Much environment.
Absolutely.
Now, this question I'm going to pose for both Jonathan and yourself. With the 3 albums that came out in the 90s, Silver, Creature, and Mercedes 5 and Dime, what would be each of your favorite deep cuts or favorite tracks? Because we know the singles. I like to always figure out, what do you wish would have been a single?
I'm going to throw this to you, John. I want to hear your thoughts.
I know you joined the band later, but still.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun because I was I was there. Like I moved from Vancouver. My friend Byron Wong, who actually was took over the new music. He had moved to Toronto to like start into studio work and stuff like that. And I was going to UBC, not knowing
Nice.
what I wanted to do for a couple of years and just sort of floating along. And my friend Byron said, "There's this girl I found. We have to make a band." So, so I like gave my dad all my stuff and just like came to Toronto, moved to Toronto, and got a job at Sam the Record Man and started this band. But my friend Byron, you know, we started this band with Julie called My Brilliant Beast. Um, and that was around 94. So like it was all happening. I remember seeing the Push video and going, holy crap, like because it was something to match the US push, right? Of like, you know, the grunge movement was there, but like I mean Push was something different because it had that grungy part, but it was that pop sensibility too, you know, the big hit
It
songs.
had Kevin. It had keyboards.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
That's something I think that really sets you guys apart was having those
100%.
keyboards. Absolutely. Yeah.
The secret weapon. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was there. I was there. So I was listening, and I was a fan. Like I was like, this is great for Canada, right? Because I
Yeah.
loved hearing that and having a Canadian band that was like gonna you know push that forward. And um, as far as the cuts, I mean, I don't know. Kill for You wasn't a single, was it?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always loved the groove to that one. I don't know. That's probably one of my favorite
Yeah.
non-singles, I guess. Yeah.
What about singles?
My favorite single?
Mm.
Oh, I mean, it'd have to be. Well, I don't know.
It's tough. It's throwing you on the spot.
And Reed. Like I loved all the hits. Yeah, I really loved Underground when that came out, the video, and yeah.
I want it too. You came to grind me in stone by showing me a confession bone. The smallest guns will drain my soul. Just words of comfort, swallow home.
What about you, Jeff?
I think my favorite deep cut from Silver is probably Into Everything.
Yeah.
I feel like when people that I meet are curious about this band that I claim to have been in or am in or whatever, and they want to hear a song that kind of represents it, what the band is, I often play them Into Everything because I feel like it kind of sums up all of Moist parts in one 4-minute song. It's got heavy parts, it's got lots of piano, it's got background vocals, it's kind of the whole thing.
So damn ugly, lingering, sinking in a show. Oh, sexual, intellectual, feels so wrong, makes me crazy. Pocket full of quarters left to go. I said I'm fine, work the line, punch the clock, it never meant that much. Wake up, it's here again. Whiskey shot, drink it up, one more bottle just to wash the cut away.
From Creature, my favorite deep cut is probably the title track. I just love the way the trumpet comes in on that song. I find it just like
Nice.
yeah. And for Mercedes, my favorite deep track is a song called Mike Hammer, which is a really weird song. And
Is it about the TV show?
It was actually it wasn't about the TV show as much as it was about the theme song to the TV show. The theme song to the TV show was an old jazz standard And when we wrote the song, I remember one of us saying, "Hey, that sounds like the theme to Mike Hammer." And it was before David had written any lyrics. And actually the lyrics don't mention Mike Hammer at all. It was just that's how we referred to it. And that's how the title stuck.
Singles or single?
I still feel like whenever I hear Resurrection on the radio, I feel like we captured lightning in a bottle with that song. I don't know what it is, but and it's funny because when we recorded it, I didn't really think anything of it. I didn't think that it would. I liked it a lot, but I didn't think that it would be. I mean, here in 2025, it's one of the big three songs that are played constantly still on rock radio, and every time I hear it, I get the chills. And every time I hear it when I'm out in public with people who aren't necessarily paying attention to the radio, I make sure that everyone stops and I say, "Hey, you got to stop and listen to the song right now.
Yes.
Stop doing whatever you're doing."
So I'm at work
It's pretty
today.
obnoxious, but that's what I do. So yeah.
I'm at work today, and I mentioned to a few of my coworkers that I was going to be interviewing you today. And one of them, he's like a 20-year-old guy, and he's pretty good with his old music. His mom raised him well on music. So I'm like, "Dude, you know Moist?" He's like, "I do, don't I?" He turns on Resurrection, and everyone in the back of house is loving it. They're just loving it. They're like, "Yes, we love this song. We know this song."
Excellent. Awesome.
So I'm glad you mentioned that one. Even the young guys get it, and I love that.
Drowned out by the rain, still I'm wishing I could stay. But I'm sorry, my old friend, I've got to leave you once again. And despite what I might say, measure pleasure by the pain, measure pleasure by the twisting of the metal in the vein. And it might be very hard, can't be more than what we are, can't be more till it's over. Here comes the resurrection, everybody got to die from something. Nothing ever left to leave you when you go. I saw you strip my babies, I don't know the way you cut them my feet, I don't know the way you cut you from below.
I would pick "Leave It Alone" as one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah.
Now, the video for "Believe Me" was a big deal. Bif Naked in the video. How did that happen? Were you guys already friends?
Yes. We were, it's funny. I listened to your episode with Biff and it was
Yes.
fantastic. I thought you did a great job with that, as you do with all of your podcasts. And Biff is such a sweetheart, and she's
lovely.
she's amazing. Yeah. But she I know you asked her about it as well. And she misremembered, I think, that we had been touring opening for her, not the other way around.
Oh.
I think we did 4 or 5 shows opening for her with her band, because she was a big deal at the time. And we just really clicked with her and her whole band. They were amazing. And so when we were casting Silver, we were looking for some cool friends to come and be in the video. We couldn't have, we still were asking for friends to come and be in these things. And one of us mentioned, we should get Biff to come out, because Biff was like the coolest, the coolest person we had ever met. And so we got Biff to come out, and we sat her at the table with this girl. I think her name was Lila. I should remember now. And we sat them together at the table, and they're in the Silver video. It's like a club scene, and Biff and it's a really quick shot of both Biff and Lila sitting there together. And that was that. And then, but the next video was Believe Me, and we did casting for that as well. And eventually we were just like, why don't we just get Biff and Lila? They were so perfect together in the Silver video. And so we called them up and asked them to come to Los Angeles and be the leads in the video. And it was great. Yeah.
Oh yeah, fantastic video.
Yeah. Very cool. that location, the LA River, as they call it, has
Yes.
been the location for so many famous movies that we were all tripping out a little bit being there as well. So we're like, oh, that's where the Terminator rode his bike right there, and that's where the Grease run was, and the car. Anyway, yeah, it was awesome.
I should do an episode on that river. Honestly. Now, how did you deal with the Napster file sharing era when things were changing and artists weren't getting paid for their music anymore? Because you were coming up right around that time.
Well, we were before that, so
Yeah.
We had already, by the time that happened, we were already on hiatus, pretty much. So I don't know, John, what do you think of the whole Napster thing? How did that change?
Yeah.
Your band was super active at that time as well.
I think I was more with David then. I was playing with David, so his solo
On the
stuff.
solo work, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, because when was Napster? When was it? What year was it? Did it come out? Like in full force?
I think I might have been off on that for sure, because maybe it was late 90s and not, I was thinking more the mid 90s.
No, it was late for sure. It was definitely, yeah. It was, I think it was 2000, 2001. Yeah. I think, I remember a lot of artists complaining about it and being, but people were still selling records, just not as many. And if you weren't one of the top selling artists, it's possible just that it was no longer your time. So that happens.
It changed the course of the music industry, that's for sure.
True. And it was inevitable eventually that something like that would happen.
Yeah,
with the computer
I
age.
remember doing we were doing some shows for David's to promote Little Songs. He didn't tour for that record, but we did 3 shows, I think. And I remember going to the first one. It was sort of like a promotional event, and it was like the catering was, I don't know, the catering must have been 10 grand, and like the amount of money being like spent on things was so like shooting even my band shooting a video was like 100 grand or something like that. It's like.
It's elaborate.
I don't know, and considering nowadays, like how cheap you can do things, do stuff in your own house and stuff like that. I mean, Napster paved the way sort of for changing how, that money gets allocated, because I guess maybe there was less money after that, right? To give away. So I don't know. It was an interesting time for sure.
I think one of the things with everybody that we know and everybody in our band is we're all a little bit intrigued by technological change. And so when something like this happens, we don't necessarily look at it as how it's going to impact us personally. It's more something that we're just kind of interested in how this is going to affect the world. And certainly it has.
Well, and just having the mindset that you want to see it and embrace it and figure out how you go forward with it instead of just being negative, which is the way some artists chose to be about it. It's you kind of have to just embrace it and realize, well, this is it. Now what do we do? Let's figure it out.
I mean, I don't know if I should get into it, but I hear, people talk about maybe, bemoaning the fact that a play on Spotify or Apple Music, whatever, brings in a fraction of a cent.
Mm-hmm.
And, but they kind of forget that when you get played on a big rock station back in the 90s on Q107 or Q92 or wherever the big Q stations are, you might get paid $4 for your song to get played, but it's hitting maybe 50,000 ears at that time. When you get played by way of a streaming service, it's hitting one set of ears. That's it. So it's kind of up to the artist to find the audience and to make sure that it's hitting as many people as possible.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hi. If you enjoyed Dope Nostalgia, thank you. Consider becoming a Patreon subscriber today for as little as $1 a month. It helps keep the show on the air and rolling. So if you want to check out our Patreon, it's at patreon.com/dope nostalgia. $1 a month, and you'll be helping support one of your favorite podcasts.
Hey, everybody, I'm Rick Campanelli, and you're listening to the Dope Nostalgia Podcast.
Want to understand the world we live in today? Just go back 30 years to the 1990s. Nearly every aspect of society underwent major changes in the 90s that are still being felt today. Some things weren't so great. Hairstyles, trash TV, and baggy pants. But you know what was great? The music, the movies, TV, and changes in technology that were nothing short of revolutionary. I'm Kathy Kinzora, and on each episode of my podcast, History of the 90s, I look back at important news events and pop culture trends from the decade. So you can not only understand what happened, but also learn how it impacts you today. Everything from the end of communism and apartheid to supermodels and Super Nintendo. If it happened in the 90s, you'll hear about it on History of the 90s.
Big, shiny tunes. Much Music presents 18 bands in one delicious serving, including Fun Lovin' Criminals, Running Around, Robbing Banks, Porno for Pyros, No Doubts, Slow, Poe, The Red Hot Chili Peppers, Moist, Better Than Ezra, Radiohead, plus 9 more. Much Music's Big Shiny Tunes, 18 tracks, one low price. In stores now.
And what countries did you find really embraced your music for both of you guys, besides Canada, like where you got to travel and people went nuts for the songs in the band?
Well, my band we never made it out of Toronto, really. So I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you know what we got. I think in 1995 we were in Canadian radio. We were number 29, so we had a top 30 single. So we were right between Alanis and Madonna. So that was a pretty
excellent.
Cool, pretty cool place to finish that year.
Yeah.
But yeah, we never got picked up. But I think Jeff can speak to
The
that.
My Brilliant Beast records are great, by the way. If anyone who hasn't, they're available for streaming and they're worth totally checking out. They're really, you guys did some really amazing work in those times. So
yeah, it was fun. I think we were kind of pushing some boundaries with the three of us in a room and like playing with tech. It was, we just had stuff to play with, and I was, playing cellos on the floor, and we just did whatever to make music, right? Loops, samples. Yeah,
it's cool.
It was great. I think when you guys in 97, when you guys sort of were winding down touring, I remember the first time I met Jeff was we were playing at Ted's Wrecking Yard, a show, My Brilliant Beast show, and Jeff came. Jeff was like someone was. I can't remember who else was there. You were there, maybe Kevin.
Yeah.
But you came on stage and played bass, and we did a cover of "Breathe."
Oh my God, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, Julie sang. You played bass. That was great.
I completely forgot about that. This is
the first time
I met Jeff. When I say I don't remember things, this is a perfect example of that. I don't remember the first time I met John. There you go.
Yeah, Yvonne Metzel she ran those Ted Wrecking Yard.
Yeah, she was a Toronto institution, booking places, yeah, she was great. Yeah. To come back to your question, we did a lot of, we were almost very successful in the UK, in that we had a push as if we were going to be successful, and we had a top 50 single, and we were on the Smash Hits Poll Winners Party, and we played the Reading Festival, and we played Top of the Pops, and all of those amazing things. And it got to the point where the last tour that we did there broke even, because it just cost so much money to bring everything over there. And so the very last tour that we did there broke even. And then we came back to Canada and recorded Creature, and the label over there thought that it was too rock. So so they never released it. So we never went back. So we were right on the verge of everything. That's it was one of those strange things. So but we had an amazing time. We spent a lot of time there, and we had a really incredible time doing it. We went to Europe, and we went to Thailand a bunch of times, because we had some success there as well. And yeah, it was great.
Did you actually get to enjoy it, or were you too busy working?
The first time we went, sorry, speaking of Thailand, you mean? Or
yeah.
Just in general? Yeah.
Or traveling
most of the time we were too busy working, for sure.
Yeah.
Thailand, we booked a week holiday before we got busy with stuff, and we went directly first to the islands, and we met we rented little cabins on the beach, and we went there with the intention of writing songs for the second record. And in the end, we just had a really good time, really relaxed and chilled out and stuff. So there's a lot of when you're touring with a rock band, there's an awful lot of work goes on. You're constantly, there's not a lot of time. You play the show, and then you have to do the meet and greet afterwards, and then you have to get up early in the morning to do the morning drive show, and then you've got to show up for sound check, and then you've got to go do the afternoon stuff, maybe do an in-store, and then get ready for the show before. It's pretty busy, but it was amazing time. We had a great time doing it, so not complaining one bit.
I guess because you're going from venue to hotel to wherever you have to be, you don't get a chance to see anything, but you do get a chance to meet the people of that country, which is pretty sweet.
100%. Yeah. We toured a lot in America as well. And we had a great time doing those shows because we were often opening for people. Like we did like 30 shows, I think, with Collective Soul. And those were amazing shows because we were playing a 30-minute set, and we would get to spend the rest of the time just kind of hanging out and meeting people. And we were very much a band where we recognized the importance of shaking as many hands and talking to as many people and signing as many stickers as possible. And we did a lot of that, and we enjoyed every minute of it.
Now you, Jeff, formed the band Rye in 2004?
I did, yes. Yeah.
What was that project like for you?
That was my experiment to see if I wanted to be a guitar player and a singer in a rock band. And we made a record that I'm super proud of. I love the Rye record. And I found some really, really great guys to be in that band. And we did about 12 shows. And at the end of it, our bass player decided he wanted to move to Vancouver. And I thought to myself, you know what? I really don't like being a lead singer. I'm going to go. This is a really great experiment. And I'm happy to go back and be the bass player in the background again.
And now you know.
And now I know. I know that there's certain things that I'm cut out for, and singing and playing guitar and doing that whole stage patter thing is just not one of them. But thanks for bringing it up.
I hated doing patter, honestly. It was so uncomfortable sometimes.
Did you have like a script in your mind worked out?
Sometimes, but then I didn't want to seem like disingenuous either. Like, just like, and you don't want to say this exact same thing all the time. So there were certain things I'd have to think about. And you're playing bars too. Like you're thinking about having to sell booze.
Yeah. We came up with a really clever thing. We thought it was clever. Maybe every band does it. Which is that right from the very beginning with the Moist sets, we would group all the songs into groups of 2 or 3 with segues in between, so that David would only have to speak to the audience every 3 songs, basically. So
smart.
Yeah. So we played 12-minute chunk. David could say his thing, play another 12-minute chunk, and just, yeah.
Yeah. That's a good question to ask lead singers how they feel about that, actually. Some probably just absolutely love it. And, who knows? Depends where you are.
We can't speak to that, can we?
Exactly.
Well, you can. You were a lead singer, but John and I are happy in the background. So, yeah.
John, I know that you were working with David on his solo projects as well, and obviously the band. And what else were you doing during that time in the late 90s? Or early 2000s?
Yeah, I mean, early 2000s. I mean, mostly I started like digging in with David and working on his records. So that sort of was what I was doing. And by the time 2007 came out, we were touring like full on. His records, Strange Birds and Wake Up and Say Goodbye, like those had some good traction. So we were playing a lot of cross Canada tours, like in the bus. Yeah, and then I was just doing web stuff. I was always into web. I got into building websites and things from from 95. Like that's, yeah. My friend Byron and I, we made a company too that was building websites. So I was there with CompuServe and your intro to your podcast with this like that. That was my life.
Yes.
Logging in.
Yes.
I was there. Yeah, I remember checking up, www, what is this thing? And figuring like, okay.
Yeah.
There, like there's a page on Brian Eno, and I'm looking at this Brian Eno, and that's the first time I saw image, and I'm like, what's image mean? Like, so I had to figure out, how to get Netscape to see an image, right? And from there, I was like,
Load
I have
forever.
to make a website for my band, right? And so that's how I kind of got into programming, was that. Well, my dad got me a VIC-20 back in 1982, so that's when I really got into
That's what I'm going to dive
programming.
into now. I'm going to dive into like, what was your first computer? What was it called?
It was a Commodore VIC-20.
Yeah.
It had 3.5K RAM, but I had this little cartridge that gave it 16K RAM, so I could like, yeah, play this crazy game called Seamus. But loaded on cassette. Took like 3 minutes to load the 16K of information.
I had the Radio Shack version of that.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
had to load it on cassette, and there's like yeah, one or two games that came with it. And actually, remember the games that were all text. I can't remember what the game was called
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
You're standing in a
Sure. Yeah.
dark cave, like, or whatever. It was like, yeah.
I used to play this thing called door games, and there was the BBS systems, bulletin board systems, where you would call a local phone number and you would dial in to their
Yeah.
system and play the games and download files and message boards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Did either of you do that?
I did for a little bit. Yeah, yeah. On those, yeah, like sort of fantasy world places too, where you'd log in and it was sort of like you'd meet people, but you could, I don't know, it was fun. It was neat.
Yeah, I like doing those. I ran one.
Oh,
I
wow.
was like I was like 15 and I was running a BBS and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm playing Oregon Trail and Alone in the Dark and Wolfenstein 3D.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, yeah.
But it was
Awesome.
great to be there at that time, because like that's like learning that thing about the image and then building the website. Like I never went to school for any of this stuff, but it was just amazing to be there and like, okay, now there's for a chat guest book, right? Okay, how do I make a guest book for my release Beast website? And so I just learned like CGI programming and whatever the newest thing's coming out, and I'm still doing that today. Like the AI tools that are coming out, it's just I just adapt to whatever is coming out. But it was, yeah, it was fun to be there, and we built a company around that. Like Byron's girlfriend at the time was a graphic designer, so and Byron was a real entrepreneur and like started knowing people in Toronto, and we ended up building the actual like the simpatico page that you come to, like welcome to the internet, like through Bell. Like I coded that in HTML. Like that was
Awesome.
with a light, and I just figured out like animated, I call them GIFs, but GIFs like of
GIFs,
how to
yeah.
do it. So it was like 3 frames of this and
Is
it
that
took me
stuff
forever to get it from
archived?
51K down to like, and I finally got it to like 49.9 so that it could.
Is that stuff archived anywhere on the internet?
I don't know. I should check archive.org if that's there.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
I probably have on in my closet, there's probably a CD with.
Right, yeah, I'm sure.
You'll have to forgive me because for about 10 seconds, my internet connection just went gone.
Oh.
And when you came back, you were talking about GIFs. And I was like, oh, what happened? It just said, oh, unstable. Okay. But it should be back to normal now.
We were
Yeah,
just
so-
dishing
so-
some serious tea. Sorry, you missed it.
Yeah, the next project was TV Guide Live. So we built this site. It was all graphic design, like illustrated, colorful. But on the top of it, this building, there was an antenna, and so I had just discovered animated GIFs, like, and how to make it like animate. So like, I had put, yeah, it was like 3 frames, and the top of this building, and I struggled to get that like it optimized so it looked like it was part of the image, And I got it down to 49.9K or something, and then got launched. And that was, yeah, it was an achievement at the time. And people were like, "Oh my God, the
Huge.
page is moving!" Like, so it was fun to be there, like at the beginning of all these, kind of life-changing things, right?
Life-changing things and things that change so quickly. Like HTML developed so fast it was hard to keep up with it. And then they introduced CSS style sheets and like and then the web 2.0. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm lost. I can design my MySpace page. Yeah, I can add songs and change colors and things like that.
Yeah, my kid's 13 and he just has no idea about this. Like he just takes it for granted, right?
Yeah.
He didn't.
But
He was surprised when you could flip a record over and there's like music on the other side.
I love that.
But you know what's great? His teacher, he's taking piano this year at school, and he got a new teacher that came in, and this guy loves Moist. So my kid is actually learning like underground, and he's learning Moist songs because the teacher's so excited about Moist.
Oh, that's so
My
cool.
kid
That's
Moist songs
great.
on the piano.
That's great. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that is very cool.
I heard a really funny thing a couple of days ago. Someone was talking about Columbia House and about how amazing it was that you could spend a penny and get 10 CDs by mail. And if you were trying to explain that to a kid today, they'd be like, first of all, what is a CD? What is a penny? And what is mail?
It's just a totally different language. What was your guys' Columbia House like? Did you remember some of the albums you got on there? Because I'm assuming that you might have signed up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Let me see. What did I get? I still have records that I probably never listened to. I think I have a 311 record somewhere that I've never listened to, and yeah, a bunch. I signed up for it more than once, I'm afraid.
Me too. Jonathan, did you do it? Did you get suckered in?
I gotta say, when I was 16, I had a job. It's very sacrilegious, but it was called Hot Wax, and it was a record store, like a used record store. But we rented records. I don't know how we rented records. I don't know how we never got shut down. But
Isn't that like going to the library?
yeah,
Almost, but like paying for it?
except here you'd
The
pay $2
Blockbuster.
and rent it. Our biggest customers were aerobic instructors because they could make their aerobic mixtapes. But so I didn't really need Columbia House because I just made my own tapes. I was there for 7 hours a day just making tapes.
Okay, so piracy did exist before Napster, is what we're discovering here.
Between that and Sam the Record Man, that's awesome. You had some fun times.
I had, well, you know, it was crazy too. I had this Chevette with a hatchback, and the guy that ran this place had speakers, and we did weddings. So like I'd go out and do weddings, but it was all on cassette. Like there was no record. It was cassette, and I had like this big sheet of cassette, and I had this dot matrix printer that printed out like the song. If it was like old time rock and roll, it'd have to be on 5 different cassettes, right? Because you'd need to play this. If you had to play it, you had to play it. So you couldn't just have it on one tape,
Nope.
right? So, yeah, but I was beat mixing stuff too. I had these 2 decks that I could line up the stuff and like.
That'd be so hard. It would take so much like talent to do that.
Yeah, but that's
Do
where I
either
met
of-
Byron, because he was working at Save on Foods at the video rental place next door, and he came in, and I was actually listening to one of my own like recordings, like a song that I had made, and he came in all kind of cool, and he's like, "What's this playing?" So it's me. And he's like, "Okay," and then that's how I met him, and we started hanging out and making some music together.
Do either of you collect vinyl now?
I don't. I did briefly, and then I realized that even though I do appreciate the whole concept, I don't have the I don't really I don't really care that much about the space, the sound, that kind of thing. I listen to music constantly, but I'm fine with just streaming it from my phone into my wireless earbuds, and I'm not precious or fussy about it at all. So I have, I've got the same kind of vinyl. I've got the same 100 records that everybody else has, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I got a few things that I have the U2 Wars 20, whatever it was, the 20th anniversary edition on vinyl and that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm not super fussy about it.
Well, if it's one of those albums that helped raise you and one of your favorites of all time, it's cool to have it.
It's
right?
almost more for the artwork that I have it. Like for the
Yeah.
artwork. I love the and I'm looking at my Moist vinyl collection right now. It's within arm's reach, and I love it. So I love the fact that it actually has the stuff has the artwork in
Yes.
12-inch size and that kind of thing. So yeah.
I sold mine off before the big vinyl resurgence, so someone got a good deal for like $1 each, probably.
Very.
But I kept 30. I got 30. Like I got my old Technics 1200 record player, and so if I want to, I can put on like my favorites, basically. But yeah, I'm with Jeff. I just have my phone, headphones.
Exactly.
It's just
Headphones.
everything's there. Everything's there.
Bluetooth it to some speakers. The only thing I can't stand is when someone wants to play a song right on the telephone, like right on the phone, because it's so tinny that I can't handle it. But other than that, just Bluetooth it to something, it's going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah. This is my favorite. My favorite device is this, the JBL little sort of speaker thing. Powerful little thing, and easy to carry around. You can throw it in your bag, and yeah, it's a lot easier than carrying creative vinyl around.
Now, when we goes back to the reunion that happened in 2013, got back together, making new music together. And has it been the same ever since? You guys have just or taken breaks here and there. What's been going on since then? In the last 10 years or so.
Well, I guess I'll start with this, and then you can fill in. So we did the reunion in 2013, and then everyone was super gung ho about everything and making a record and that kind of stuff. And at that point, I had my son was 3 at the time, and I was like, you know what? I know how much work this is. If you guys are gonna really try to make this a real thing and really make a go of it, I'm gonna be a pain because I have other stuff going on. So I left the band at that point. So John, you can carry on from that point until when I rejoined the band. What happened from 2014 until?
Because I joined in on the Resurrection tour, that reunion tour, and it was great. I didn't play every song too. I kind of I came on for doing some acoustics and some keyboards, and then I'd go off the stage. But when it came time to record, that's when David said, "Hey, do you want to come and do some songwriting with the band?" And because I've been working with David for so long, I think he liked the process of us writing. So he thought, well, bring it in, because everyone's coming back to writing, and it's been a long time, writing as a band. So yeah, it was interesting because Louis Lancet was playing bass for David Usher for quite a few years, and he's one of the biggest Moist fans I know. So he got the call when Jeff said he can't come in at the moment. Louis was like, it's like his favorite band ever, and he's gonna pick the bass player for that. So he was there, and it was a fun, like, that writing process was fast. We had the song Mechanical come in, and it was like, oh my God, this sounds like a true Moist song. Like it has the feel of a Moist, like right back at it. So that was fast, and we ended up touring that record. Yeah, and then there was a bit of a break, I guess. And that's when did you come back in, Jeff?
I came back for then. I was out with the guys, I think in 2018, just for drinks. And I said, I just brought up, I said, do you guys happen to are you aware that it's the 25th anniversary of Silver? Like the silver anniversary of Silver is next year. And whoever was, I think it was with Mark and Kevin, and they were like, oh, wow, that's true. And I said, my kid he doesn't need me anymore. He was 3 and now he's whatever it is, 9. He's like fine now. So I'd like to come out. If we should do a tour and do that record start to finish, and Louis could come out and play songs, and I'll come along and I'll play the Silver stuff, and yeah. And then I got a call from Mark a few weeks after that, and he was like, you know what? I think that maybe we should just reform the original band and have you come back if you want to come back. And I was like, yeah, I'm back in. So I came back for the 25th anniversary tour, and the same thing happened. We had such a good time that we immediately started writing songs, and and it pushed through to a whole new record, which I'm also like the record that the guys made without me, Glory, is an amazing record that really carries on with the carries on the story of the band. And I think that the one that we made after that, End of the Ocean, is the same. It's another kind of continuation of the story, and it falls right in place with the Moist catalog, and we're super proud of it. Yeah. So
yes, and what a great title too.
Yeah, it's a funny title. Yeah.
I like
End
it.
of the Ocean, because it has double meaning. Is it a place or is it a time?
Mm.
Is it where the ocean ends or is it when the ocean ends?
Deep. It's so deep right now. Oh. How do you feel about the current state of rock and roll? Are we in a good place? Do you think do we have some good new rock bands out there that people should be paying attention to, or do you think it's just like not doing much?
Well, I mean, we got that record all ready to go, and then we had the tour planned, and then COVID happened. So,
Yeah.
well, COVID happened while we were recording that record.
COVID happened when we
right
were
in the middle of it.
Right in the middle of it. Yeah, right. When we were tracking the drums and the bass we were tracking what they call the beds in the studio when on March 18th, 2020, when we got the call that everyone had to go home. Yeah, so we finished the record remotely. Everyone in their home studios sending parts back and forth with Mark quarterbacking everything from his house. And there's really good rock music out there still, and there's really good bands. Canada has amazing rock bands right now. Like there's I love Beaches, I love Glorious Sons, I love there's bands here in Kingston, like the Astros and Melancholy Caravan, and really just excellent music that's being played. It's a band called Luscious, which is really cool. So I think kids still do want to rock, but
I really miss much music. Like that was like having a central hub for like, the latest. I mean, CBC does a pretty good job, but like it's, you have to listen to different programs, right? And it's just not something that's on all the time, right? You can't just come home and there's, you're hearing. Yeah, I don't know. You think they would come back with that? You think kids would want to? I don't know why it doesn't come back.
You're right about the central hub, because now you could go and load up YouTube and be like lost in the sea of stuff. You have no idea where to start.
Yeah.
And it's not a group experience. Watching Much Music was a communal experience for people. You knew that you were watching the same thing that was being watched by people your age in the next door to you, and in the town next door, and in the province next door, and it was an incredible experience. Like it really brought people together. Yeah, I think that's
get together and talk about what you saw.
Yeah.
I watched the Junos, and it's I just don't know. There's so much stuff happening. I don't know a lot of those people on it anymore.
I don't know who anybody is.
Yeah, it's harder to.
I know who Anne Murray is. I saw her.
I love that
new up and comer, and I saw her on the Junos, and I thought this woman seems really cool. I think she's got a career ahead of her. I think so.
Bright future.
That's my hot take on the Junos for this year.
Oh damn! Yeah, and Sarah was there,
and Sarah McLachlan as well. Yeah. Yes.
But once COVID happened, I was in my place in Chelsea, and kind of out in the woods a bit. So ended up playing a lot more acoustic guitar, and so I kind of lost. It's so funny when we had to start rehearsing for these latest shows. I like picked up my Les Paul, and I'm like, the strings were rusted. I'm like, well, when did I play this last? And it's like, oh, our last show was 2022. It was like 2 years ago. Like I hadn't played an electric guitar for like 2 years. So
the time just flew by.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to believe that's been 5 years already since it all started.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, our new record is 5 years old right now.
That's crazy.
Crazy enough. It's totally crazy. Yeah.
But you really like came up to the challenge and task of getting it done, even through all of that stuff going on. So that's an amazing accomplishment.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope people. I feel like, I'm really. I think we all are super proud of it. I think it's a really great record, and I encourage people to check it out. Take 4 minutes out of your life and stream something new. Next time you go to the Moist catalog, as well as listening to Push and Silver and Resurrection and Leave It Alone and Tangerine and Creature. Thank you for listening to those, but check out Ammunition and End of the Ocean and Tarantino and Party's Over, and there's 10 really cool songs on that record.
Put it in your Spotify playlist right now, everybody. Do it.
Naomi, you're going to play clips, right? You do this.
I
You
do play clips.
Yes,
Yep.
and that's why I love your podcast. I love it for that.
I like like I said, I like to play some of the deep cuts. I don't like to play songs that everybody all knows already. So when I play deep cuts, I don't want to play new stuff.
End of the Ocean has 10 deep cuts on it. So
let's play them.
Yeah.
Under starlight in this small town, we were lost here, always trying to get out. We ran into the night, taking only what we need to the city of fire. We were dying to be free, and we lived wild where the ghosts hide. And I fell to my knees, you were laughing at the sky, and I felt every second, and we loved every sin. Now we're breaking on the waves again. Here at the end of the ocean, we were lost at the end of the world, and reborn at the end of the ocean. We'll rise again. We'll rise again.
Yeah, we'll play a clip off that album. I also would like to play My Brilliant Beast song too.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Tell me which one you want. I'll do it.
Well, we had on our first EP we had the hit song that was number 29. It was called Fall Away.
Mm-hmm.
A little more poppy hit. We had a song called Phase Me that was supposed to be in a it got cut from a movie, but it ended up being in a horror movie. I forgot the name of the movie, but I'll get that.
I can Google it.
But yeah, Phase Me is the name of that song. But Fall Away actually it's funny because it got onto Melrose. It was an episode of Melrose Place. So
Nice.
Yeah. And that's where out of the woodwork, I got phone calls from lots of people that says, "Oh, I don't really watch the show, but I heard your song on." Oh, you don't watch the show?
You just happen to.
You're just passing the channel. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll play a clip of that song. Let's do that. I'd love that. We'll be having all kinds of good clips in this episode.
Okay, great.
All the colors in your mind, and the light shines in your eyes, and all the lovers by your side, the love that me and I fall away, I fall away.
What's on the Moist itinerary for touring coming up, and what's on the Moist rider?
We were just going over the rider actually. We're just sort of getting our feet wet this summer. We've got just a handful of shows kind of in fun convenient places. Last time we went out, it was a bit of a nightmare flying. We missed a show in Vancouver because a flight got canceled, and we sort of made the decision that to get our feet wet, to get back into it, that we wanted to do shows that we could basically drive to. So we're just doing some fun shows around Ontario and Quebec this summer. Although we are coming out, and we're just playing weekends. People always ask me what the band is like right now, and I kind of describe it as it's kind of like our fishing club, where it's just a bunch of guys who go and hang out on the weekends together and but instead of fishing, we play rock music. So we do have one show coming up in your neck of the woods. I don't think it's been announced yet though. So, but I will tell you that it is we're playing with another amazing Canadian artist, and we're playing somewhere within 1 hour of Edmonton.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
It's Rock the Track in Rimby.
Rimby?
Yeah.
Okay. And when is what month?
August.
Okay. I'm going to do my best to be there.
We will guest list you. Let us know if you want to come check us out and meet us in person.
That would be incredible. Love to do that.
So
okay.
That's the only one that we have to get on an airplane for. So we are.
Don't do WestJet. Ugh.
Honestly, it was Air Canada that they're all bad. My whole family was just stranded with Flair. It took us 2 days to get back from Cancun a month ago. So
really,
everyone's got. Yeah. In all fairness, though, an airplane had just flipped over in Toronto that day. So everything was.
Was
delayed.
it that day?
It was that day. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So we were not unhappy. We were just kept on reminding ourselves how much worse it could be. So
yeah, and how lucky everyone was too.
Yeah, it's incredible. What an incredible story. So, but
Yeah.
that was actually the same day that our manager called and said, "Hey, do you guys want to fly to Edmonton for a show in August?" And I was like, "This is the wrong time to be asking about flying anywhere." As I'm stranded in Cancun, watching on the news about a plane flipping over in Toronto. So, yeah. Anyway.
It's August 9th is the show.
August 9th? Okay. I will move mountains to be there. Rimby can't be that far from here.
I think it's an hour.
So,
our manager says
We'll
it's
be
an
fine
hour,
then.
which means it's somewhere between 1 and 12 hours.
Easy. I got this. Yeah, okay. I can't wait. That would be amazing. And I'm just so happy to have chatted with you guys today. I hope you had fun.
It was great.
Because I really enjoyed that.
Me too.
Actually, Kevin said to apologize to you. He said you would reach out to him on the Moist IG account as well.
Yes.
Kevin is the guy who monitors that.
Okay.
And he said he meant to get back to you and he forgot. And
that's okay.
He would have jumped in on the call as well, but he's busy. So
that's okay.
But but he said to find out when it comes up so he can post it on the Moist Instagram account.
Wonderful. I'd really appreciate that. If there's anything you want me to add to the show, anything you want me to plug for you, obviously I'm plugging the latest album and any of the gigs coming up, I can do that as well.
You could just look for us, check actually, you don't have to say it. I'll say it right now. Just everyone go to moistonline.com and look at the tour dates to see if we're playing in your neck of the woods this summer.
Kick ass. I love it. Thank you. And thanks for jumping in, Jonathan. I was so glad when you told me you were going to join us too. Thank you.
Oh, very happy to. Thank you.
Yeah. And Jeff, you're been a pleasure. Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you. It's been great.
All right. Have a wonderful evening.
Evening for you. It's bedtime for us.
Yeah, it's a little late for you guys. Take care.
Okay. Thanks, Naomi.
Bye.
Social media, yeah, we've got it. Send us an email, dopenostalgiapodcast@gmail.com. Twitter, nostalgia dope. Or on Insta, dope_nostalgia.
This podcast is licensed by SOCAN because we believe that artists should be paid for their work.
Hey there, music lovers. Did you know that getting licensed to share music online is not just the right thing to do? It's also super important for supporting creators and the music industry. That's why we're proud to be licensed by SOCAN, a copyright collective that grants licenses for online music broadcasts in Canada. By getting licensed through SOCAN, you ensure that every beat, every note, and every melody that you play is compliant and fair to the creators. Join us in supporting the music community. Visit SOCAN's website at www.socan.com and get your web radio, podcast, or any other use of online music licensed today. Let's stream beautiful music together, legally and ethically. SOCAN. Music, people, connected.
Hey friends. I kind of miss getting those messages on my answering machine like we used to back in the day. What I'd really love is to hear from you, the listeners of Dope Nostalgia. This is your chance to be on the show, giving feedback, telling us what you love, what you hate, and who you'd like to see more of.
Call us at our new toll-free number 1-888-741-9192. Leave us some feedback. Your message could be played on the show. So give us a call, 1-888-741-9192. Toll free.